our first movie is Blade Runner 2047, and it's a sequel to the cult classic Ridley Scott film Blade Runner. In this new installment, Ryan Gosling plays Kay, who is a replicant and is charged with hunting down older models of the replicants. You see, the replicant program was disbanded, but a new, businessman played by Jared Leto has basically revamped it. But obviously, time is needed. There are still older models of replicants that need to be hunted down and destroyed, and that's Kay's job. But after a routine job, he discovers something underground. The bones of a replicant from 30 years ago, but he finds something very strange on them. And what he discovers could mean a total, worldwide crisis. And so he has to figure out what to do and how to stay alive. The problem with this movie is that it's over long and it's just not very interesting. I mean, it looks great. The cinematography by Roger Deakins is beautiful. There's some very, very striking images, but it's just not very interesting,
I think the big news with this film, aside from a sequel 25 years after the fact, is that Harrison Ford returned as Deckard. But the real stars here are Ryan Gosling and Ana de Armas.
Yeah, she's very good. She's good.
Yeah, I think.
Jared Leto is creepy, but not nearly on screen long enough to make that big of an impression. And Harrison Ford he doesn't come on screen until the very end, and it's a good performance from him, but nearly 3 hours long. It's way too long, and the plot it didn't involve me. It really didn't, and it's a shame. I mean, it's not a terrible movie by any means, but it's not very interesting, and it's been doing good business, but not nearly as much as the studios hoped, and I can see that, because fame and word of mouth can only get you so far. And one thing I must mention, and this is something that's common with all of Denis Villeneuve's films, is that it has this sort of serious, almost pretension to it, like it's the most important movie ever made. It has that feel to it, and I don't think I don't think it's warranted ever, in his films, especially not here,
Right.
especially not in this movie, because it's just not that very, very good, and the plot is rather conventional. But I give it a 2.5.
Yeah, 2.5 for me also. When I'm looking at sci-fi films, of course, the visuals stand out in that way. Home Run, this has a feel of a whole other world.
Oh yeah, it is gorgeous. The money was well spent in that area.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see the love for the source material, which is what I think is making some of these sequels that are coming years after the fact, or even multiple sequels down the road, is when you have a director who has a love for the source material, they're able to recreate at least some of the successes from the first one. Like, for instance, Jurassic World comes to mind.
Yes.
Trevor grew up loving Jurassic Park, so that's one. But it's not quite that successful as far as accomplishing what they wanted. But I think it falls more on the other aspect for me for sci-fi movie, looking at it, is the storyline and the themes. Of course, sci-fi sometimes it just wants to have fun, but a lot of times it wants to touch on more serious themes. It certainly does here. Some of them I really enjoyed, the whole human versus
machine,
versus machine relationship, feeling, that sort of thing. that worked for me, but certainly the bigger themes really didn't. The story, like you said, it was conventional.
Yeah.
So even though it was close to 3 hours, I didn't have a problem sitting through the 3 hours. But mainly that was the cinematography, the visuals,
Right.
the striking. There are scenes in there that I will always remember because they were so well done. But at the same time, those emotional beats really don't land.
Right.
And this is the same thing with his last film, Prisoners.
No, his last film was Arrival.
Sorry, Arrival. Yeah, 2 years ago. You corrected me. You will need to do that on occasion.
I'm sure I will.
But with Prisoners, at the same time, it wasn't quite. You could see, like you were saying, where the music was telling you this is an important moment,
right?
But it really wasn't feeling it quite the way that
right. It adds he adds weight that it doesn't earn. That's the thing.
Yes. And
you read about the cinematography. Roger Deakins is always good. He's always does really good camera work and. The poor guy's been nominated for best cinematography like 12 times. He still hasn't won. I mean, but this is really arresting work.
He might get it this time. He might get it.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.